Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity? Insanity is. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
DeviantArt, the recreation of hell as an art app, the shithole of the internet, the app that gathers all the people like Christian in one place.
Nick Grr.
You get the idea, don't you? DeviantArt is pretty bizarre. Although DeviantArt is probably the most popular app where you can share your art with other fellow artists, it's also the one with the worst reputation. Aside from Tumblr, of course. You see, apps like DeviantArt, Tumblr, and Pinterest, for example, build their reputation entirely on their users. Sadly for DeviantArt, it for the most part has only three types of users: kids, which is fine even though they do make some really weird art sometimes, furries, who are very common in art platforms like this, and finally the worst of the worst: degenerates who post their weird and bizarre fetishized art of a random popular character. Among the popular shows and games targeted by these deranged artists, the Sonic series clearly stands out as the winner. There is no specific reason for this, but it's probably because of how popular Sonic is, and as I said before, many users of DeviantArt are furries. Today, I will show you just how bad Sonic's DeviantArt gallery can be, going over weird, bizarre, and really disturbing art. So, if any of the following topics triggers you, feel free to watch one of my other videos instead. But if you have no problem with this, let's just get right into it. Before diving into the weirdest and definitely the most controversial topics, let's start off a bit softer. An OC or original character is a non-official character created by a fan, normally used in fanfictions and role-playing. OCs are really common not only on DeviantArt, but also on most social media platforms. According to many DeviantArt users, OCs allow fans to immerse themselves more deeply in the community they love. In my opinion, it is a bit cringe, but I don't really shame anyone who has an OC. As you probably know, DeviantArt is mainly used by teenagers under the age of 20, and at this age, many people haven't had enough time to develop good drawing skills. Which is okay, like, no one was born a Leonardo da Vinci. But the funny thing is that countless DeviantArt users, probably between the ages of 13 to 20, started by simply recoloring images of official Sonic characters and calling them their OCs. And when I say countless users, I really mean it. There are so many of these recolored Sonic OCs that you can just type any name followed by the Hedgehog, and I guarantee you will find a recolor of a Sonic character that is someone's OC. I'm not joking, like, you can go look it up right now. These recolored OCs are normally poorly seen in the Sonic fandom. Though I personally don't think there is anything wrong with them, neither do I care if someone has an OC that is just a recolored version of a Sonic character. But they do normally look like something a 5-year-old made. Unlike many of the topics I'll discuss later, ship wars are a relatively harmless yet cringe-worthy topic. Ship wars is a term used when fans of a community, in this case within the Sonic fandom, argue over which characters from the series should be in a relationship. Even though this exists in many other fandoms, ship wars is kinda different in the Sonic community, because if the ship doesn't include Sonic, no one will give a fuck about it. But my god, some people really get mad over a cringy Sonic ship. Many people get hate on DeviantArt for posting pictures that portrays a ship between Sonic and a character the viewer dislikes. It's also worth noting about the other side of the coin, when people just give their opinion about the image and the artist loses his mind over others having a different opinion.
Sonic and Tails are not even in love with each other.
Shut the fuck up.
The Sonic fans that absolutely lose their shit over this are of course either kids or a fat ass Reddit mod. This is probably the last thing you would expect to see in today's video, but yet here we are talking about Sonic Christian images on DeviantArt. So, some people on DeviantArt create these inspirational images with Bible quotes, but for some reason, they feature characters from the Sonic series. It's like the crossover no one asked for, but the one everyone needed. I mean, I already knew Christianity was epic, but like, Sonic Christianity? That's a whole nother level of epicness. Look at this image, it goes so hard. It makes me want to save it as my wallpaper so the next time I'm making a school presentation, everyone in the class knows how cool I am. Jokes aside, this is pretty bizarre. First, why make a fanart about Sonic and religion? There is no problem in including religion in your Sonic fanart, but it does make it look kinda weird. Also, most of these fanarts are poorly made, making me think it's either 9-year-olds creating them or just trolls intentionally making them look like shit. And finally, we have the quotes. Most of the times, it's just a random quote from the Bible that has nothing to do with the image. Or it's just a character saying that he loves Jesus and God. Before moving on from this topic, I just wanna say that I don't hate Christianity or something, I'm just pointing out the weirdness of this type of fan art. So yeah, moving on. Now we are approaching dangerous territory. From this point onward, things just get increasingly cringier, more disturbing, and downright disgusting. So buckle up, because now we are going to talk about Sonic characters wearing diapers. As you can imagine, this is a fetish. Which is kinda obvious, I mean, there's no other reason for a grown-ass man to draw a Sonic character wearing a diaper other than, you know, stroking his Johnson to it. But to be fair, it's not just horny obese man drawing this type of content. There are also some people who create this peculiar art on purpose, making it look intentionally bad and disturbing to provoke reactions from other users. This isn't specific to the diaper content, it actually applies to almost every type of art in the Sonic community. But this quote-unquote trolls often focus on producing disturbing fetish art. But even though this looks like just a little bit of trolling, constant exposure to this type of content can desensitize people on the app, especially if they are young. What I mean by this is that some users can develop a sense of normalcy around content of Sonic characters shitting and pissing in diapers, which isn't fucking normal. And sometimes it can be even worse, they start fetishizing the idea, which is something that happens quite a lot on DeviantArt. I guess you can be just a normal Sonic fan who enjoys watching his favorite heroes shitting on diapers instead of fighting Dr. Eggman, but you gotta admit it, it's pretty fucking weird. You saw the thumbnail, you knew this was coming sooner or later. For a long time now, feet art in the Sonic fandom, especially in a platform like DeviantArt, is a whole phenomenon on its own. Many of you can argue that foot fetish art is overall kinda common on DeviantArt, which is true, but this type of content is especially bizarre here because Sonic characters look somewhat cursed when barefoot, since we are used to seeing them wearing shoes. On top of that, most of this art consists in a super hyper detailed pair of soles taking up 3/4 of the entire picture. And on the top of that, the shoes are one of the most iconic aspects of Sonic character's design. It's like taking away Dr. Eggman's mustache.
You stupid
So why do DeviantArt users find Sonic's feet so attractive to the point of having thousands and thousands of pieces of art about it? Just like the diaper content I just talked about, this is another example of how some fandoms can take the most random aspect of a character and turn it into a whole art thing just because they can't control their cocks. Before finishing this video, I would like to also mention Vor.
What the fuck is that?
The concept of Vor is already pretty bizarre on its own, and when you combo it with Sonic fan art, we get a gigantic shit explosion. For the simpletons who don't know, People who have vor fetish find erotic the idea of consuming or being consumed by another person. In Sonic vor art, you will find your beloved Sonic the Hedgehog characters in scenarios where they are either swallowing or being swallowed, often featuring these big ass weird looking bellies. I think it's pretty strange to look at characters that normally go through loops, fight evil robots and collect rings, to be in situations where they are fighting for survival inside someone's stomach. Okay, I think we've been through enough hell for today. Seriously, diving into all of this questionable art has been a wild journey to say the least. From the bizarre to the downright disturbing, I've seen things that can't be unseen. And if you have stuck around for this long, it probably means you enjoyed this video, so don't forget to show your support down below, either with a like or a comment. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you ever go visit DeviantArt, don't forget to turn on your safe search.